Picking up where we left off, Delta Rose Raid is caught after you get the third badge and you've completed all the things you need to do in Helios City. You can go to your Tira town. They have a library. The far west side, there is a shelf with a hidden book with a switch. You can go inside that room that you access with the switch, and you'll be able to catch Delta Badu. In my opinion, this is the quintessential Delta Pokemon. It kind of shows you like everything a Delta Pokemon can be. Yes, it has the same stats as a regular Rose Raid, but far superior typing with that Fairy Dark. Its weaknesses are only to Fairy, Poison, and Steel, while it has two immunities, two resistances. One of them is a 4x resistance to Dark, and I mean, honestly, phenomenal stab. It has good coverage all over the place. It's just a phenomenal Pokemon. You really want to work it into your playthrough for the most part, especially if you're playing a darkness team at all. So, great Pokemon. Delta Snorlax is another great Pokemon. You catch it in Route 8 inside the Hidden Grotto. Um, this Pokemon has a hidden ability called Adaptability, which increases the uh, power of its stab attacks. And it also has a regular ability in Thick Fat that's also really good. I suggest Thick Fat instead of Overcoat. You don't really need Overcoat. Thick Fat will get rid of two of your weaknesses. Um, yeah, great coverage. It does get rock moves, so that's the best typing to Paragrass normally. So good to have that. Otherwise, not much to talk about here. Delta Snorlax is great. I do want to talk about its different forms, though. It's nice. They don't give you any different stats, but hold up. Do they actually have pictures of the forms? Oh, they don't. Oh, there they are. There it is. There. Yeah, my favorite is the Sakura form. You see this nice pink overlay. Great Pokemon, especially for Trick Room teams and Challenge Championship. Delta Weezing. I wish I had more hands-on time with this Pokemon. I have zero time with this Pokemon. I want to use it as a Cloud 9 stopper in Challenge Championship, but then I discovered that there's a different Pokemon that we're going to talk about later in this video that is better at it. So, yeah, ultimately, Volt Absorb would probably be the better ability because of that. Getting rid of your neutrality to electric and getting an immunity instead. Otherwise, cool looking design with the Japanese drum pattern. And then yeah, stats are lacking. Moveset is kind of lacking too. I'm gonna keep it real. Hurricane, acrobatics, flying types just didn't get good moves at this point in time. Honestly. Oh, by the way, you get wheezing from trading at the Rogue Town Game Corner. Excuse me, not at the Miara Town Trade Expo, which is like in the middle south of the town, and you could trade it for some legendary that you can buy from the Rogue Town Game Corner. There we go. Delta Haxorus. This is going to be our third very strong Delta in a row. Um, yeah, I oh well, I guess Weezing wasn't that strong, but if we went Rose Raid to Snorlax to Haxorus, it would be our third in a row. Um, Water Steel type, get Strong Jaw, which, if I'm not mistaken, is plus 50% damage on its bite attack. So basically, get Stab on Hyper Fang, Crunch, Ice Fang. Um, yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. It has great abilities. I don't suggest using Heavy Metal. Strong Jaw is its best ability, unless you're really tired of getting burned. Then Water Veil is good. Delta Vespiquen is a Pokemon I have a lot of time with, and unfortunately, I was left a little bit underwhelmed. It is, unfortunately, its stats just don't add up to excellence. It is a Steel Fire type, um, which does give it a 4x weakness to ground, but it does get Levitate to negate that. However, even though it has a 474 base stat total, which isn't that bad, yeah, having defenses as your highest stat is never great. It just lacks damage. But that said, its typing also gives it a 4x resistance to fairy, which makes it great on teams with, let's say, a Delta Pidgeot that has a 4 times weakness to fairy, or the same with Delta Blastoise. So, Delta Vespiquen is a good Pokemon, not a great Pokemon for some situations. You can catch this one in the Route 9 Hidden Grotto. And by the way, since I skipped it, um, you can catch um, Delta Haxorus. You can catch this guy in the trade outpost, which you get to from the southwest corner of Miara Town. You have to surf there. Mega Typhlosion. I almost said Mecha Typhlosion. Mega Typhlosion. Um, it gets Hubris, which is a new ability that allows it to get. It's basically Moxie for special attack. Um, its stats are the most important change is the speed, 110 speed. Um, it does get a ton of special attack, which is great, but its coverage is still ultimately lacking. Like besides fire, I don't even know if this thing gets energy ball. It doesn't do it. No. Yeah, your special attacks are like non-existent, pretty much. It's really bad. So you're relying on basically, yeah, nothing. So yeah, Typhlosion has a coverage problem. That's about it. Uh, I haven't played it myself. I imagine on a Sun team it could be solid, because at least you'd get access to Solar Beam, and that would cover your water weakness and your ground and your rock. But yeah, Mega Zebstrika. Oh, by the way, for this one, you get it from trading Dridagon in Sonata City for Cyndaquil, and it'll be attached to that Cyndaquil that you get. So, Megazip Striker you get by um, completing 10 races at Sonata Tracks, and then having 80, if I'm not mistaken, 80 sponsorship value. That'll allow you to get to the VIP area where you can then get a Zep Striker with the um, Zep Strike on it. This is the worst mega of all in Insurgence. Um, yeah, it's an electric fairy type, and they decided to make it a special attacker, even though its special attack is ridiculously lower. Like, and granted, they did the same thing with Flygon, but Flygon got amplifier as an ability, where this thing got competitive as an ability. It's not the same. Um, Mega Striker has 141 speed, which is great. That's its best stat. But at the same time, it's not world beating. You're still going to get outsped by um, Mega Alakazam, Mega Beedrill, stuff like that. And both of those things are going to be able to one shot you. Um, well, maybe not Mega Alakazam, but definitely Mega Beedrill drill run. You don't get Moonblast for some stupid reason. So, yeah, lucky you. And you didn't get any boost to attack. You see 100 attack to 100 attack. So Yeah, uh, I'm kind of salty about this particular Pokemon. This they could have done a lot better with it. It's an electric fairy type, which I guess is okay, but yeah, it sucks. Mega Giraffe Rig also infuriates me for a different reason though. Um, its design is phenomenal. Its ability is another custom ability called Special Draws, which causes the biting attacks to be classified as special and get plus 30% damage. Again, phenomenal. You want to run a set like Hyper Fang, Side Shot Crunch, Hidden Power Fighting. Like, that's an amazing set to run. So, why do I hate this Pokemon? I hate the way you get it. Um, in order to get giraffe, the giraffe ring, you have to you have to win at the Pokepond, and just like with Delta Sunflora, I consider that to be a waste of your time and a waste of your intelligence. So just cheat it into the game because no, no, anything that requires a Pokemon is a Pokemon is a no. Ooh, wasn't planning on doing that today. Can I do this? Yeah, cool. All right, sorry about that. Technical difficulties there. Um, yeah, great Pokemon. Terrible acquisition. That was why couldn't they put? Well, I guess Zebstrike makes sense to be where it is, but just a mega that we don't care about because like Delta's Giraffe Rig would have been great there. Oh, I would have loved if they swapped the acquisition for Delta Sunfluorite and Sunfluorite. That would have been cool. If they swapped the acquisition for uh Giraffurigite and Delta Giraffurigite, that would have been cool too. I I'm upset that they did. All right, we're back to strong things now that are easy to get at least. Um, Delta Chandelure is a fire fairy type. It's It has three phenomenal abilities. Like just pick one. Pick one. I ran with it in my I think my sun team ran it, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been my rain team or something. Um, but yeah, phenomenal Pokemon. It was my sun team, it was. Yeah. There's not really much to say. This is a phenomenal Pokemon. Um, you get it in the basement of Sonata Hills by going around the back. So you have to go to the left of the building and then around the building and into the right hand entrance. There's a secret entrance there. All right. So now everything I'm going to talk about requires you to have gotten the badge in Sonata City. For Alligator, Mega type. So this one you get by diving in the Cyan Cavern. Um, it gets Stuffed Claws' ability, which is cool. Yeah, it's just a strong Pokemon, honestly. What are its stats now? We're going from 105 attack to 140 attack. So uh yeah, 630 base stat total, 103 speed is really good. Um, I think that's like one higher than Garchomp or something like that. Not that it really matters. We weren't that scared of Garchomp, but still, 110 defense. I don't like the increase in special attack. You could have just thrown that into a different stat or into split it amongst the defenses, but whatever. Yeah, it's a good Pokemon. If you really want to use it, it's going to work for you. No different typing. Delta Dunsparce, not a great Pokemon, but I like it anyway because it's Dunsparce. Um, it's worth using. I did use it during my playthrough. Um, to limited success. I think it was more trouble than it was actually worth. So it's a water bug type, so it's like Surskit. Um, yeah, its stats are still done sparse, but it does get the abilities of Swift Swim and Hypercutter, so you can run it on the rain team. Um, Hypercutter is nice for all the intimidates you're likely to get. Its best ability is Skill Link, and unfortunately, that's a hidden ability. And by the time you get to the end game, base 410 stats are not going to be acceptable anymore. So, uh, yeah, this thing kind of got screwed over by not getting a good ability earlier in the game. If it got its ability earlier on, it would have been a lot more useful to me. Delta Clan Pearl. All right, so just like regular Clan Pearl, its attack is doubled by the Dragon Fang, and its defenses are doubled by the Dragon Scale instead of the Deep Sea Tooth Deep Sea Scale. Um, so you can Shell Smash with it, and then you can go with it's a pure Dragon type. Go with Outrage, go with Achilles Heel, Draco Jet, whatever you want to go with. Remember that both Achilles Heel and Draco Jet are, well, no, not Draco Jet. Draco Jet is after the sixth badge, but Achilles Heel is in whole line, so deep in the post game. And even if you Shell Smash, how fast are you really going to go? 426. I think that's one less than some very important things. Because 427 was a couple important things, and like 428 were some other things. You might be speed type with some important things. I mean, that's a level 120, so it's definitely not anywhere close to run Trick Room. If we're talking about base speed 32, you can run Trick Room and be okay. Although that would work with Shell Smash too well. All right, moving on to Delta Huntail. It's a Dragon Dark type, so another 4x Fairy weakness. Love to see it. Uh, Very similar to your Delta Pidgeot. It does get Strong Jaw though. My moveset for it included Coil, Crunch, Iron Tail, Draco Jet. I think that is a good enough moveset. Let's look at its stats for coiling up. Yeah, yeah. Then having Iron Tail is nice. I wish it had some, because I think it's my I think my issue with it was I didn't want to run Dragon Rush on it for some reason. But you can run Dragon Rush on it. I think it was the speed. I was like, we need Draco Jet instead of Dragon Rush. And Draco Jet's its only stab. Um, it's only stab priority, I think. Or yeah, I guess you get Sucker Punch. You can go Dragon Rush Sucker Punch instead, but then you don't get Strong Jaws effect. So yeah, you just kind of have to pick. It's not an easy pick. Delta Gorbis has a much better typing, which is Dragon Fairy. I don't even know if there's not a. Oh no. Delta Altaria, Mega Altaria has Dragon Fairy. I was to say there isn't a canon Pokemon with that typing. Yeah, there is. Dragon Fairy. Abilities are Pressure, Marvel Scale. Yeah. Um, it's just strong. Honestly, it's kind of strong. Um, Shell Smash, Boom Blast. You can throw Hidden Power on there, Charge Beam on there. I think it is missing some coverage though. Like, does it at least get some type of water coverage or something? I don't think it does. What it, Ground and Fairy is a really good combination. Mm, And then the electric type move just hits anything that happens to be flying, steel, or poison flying. Yeah, it doesn't have good coverage. That's its only real downside. Like a lot of Pokemon. So that's the end of the Pokemon that you get by diving. By the way, I should have talked about locations for a lot of these things. So Delta Dunsparce you get by diving at the southwest edge of Stormy Seas. Um, Delta Clamperl you can dive at in Royal Islands at the northwest corner, and then these are evolutions. So after this, we've gotten the fifth badge in Kepler Town, Kepler City. You can go under the gym into the hidden workshop where they'll be selling armor for some Pokemon. One of those Pokemon is Flygon, which we've talked about already in its Mega form. Armed Flygon is not as strong as Mega Flygon, but it doesn't take up a Mega slot, so that's nice. Um, it gets a buff of 24 in both its defenses. Um, I find it to be good. Um, Not great, but good. I did use it during my playthrough to some success. I don't think I don't think its armor can be knocked off either, so that's nice because a lot of things like use knock off against you. Yeah, again, it's not an offensive boost, so it doesn't feel like you're a world beater, but it does give you some stuff. And Flygon is one of the better Pokemon to be using armor just because it has Roost. When you have Roost plus greater defense, it goes a lot longer. Leavanny. Armor Leavanny's main existence reason for existence is to annoy you by being on Berg's team in Challenge Championship. It gets basically, let me see, it gets 24 to its defenses, but golly, is this thing terrible. This thing is horrifically bad. Um, yeah, and it's just because Leavanny as a Pokemon to begin with is horrifically bad. Would not, would not, would not recommend. So the reason this thing is a problem in Challenge Championship is because it'll set sticky web, and then you basically cannot outspeed um, Mega Scizor on Berg's team if you get hit by sticky web, unless you're like off the ground or you manage to spin it away or something. So it does set you up to basically get killed very quickly, and the armor does give it just enough bulk that unless you have a flying type move or fire type move, it will survive. So yeah, he's the reason why Berg's team is one of those teams where you have to be extraordinarily careful not to accidentally get yourself, not to build a team that can lose very easily. Berg's team is one of the tougher teams because of this particular Pokemon, um, and its access to sticky web. But still, if you use it, it sucks. Delta Bisharp. I haven't used it myself, but from my time going up against it on Dev Island, I can tell you that this thing is freaking phenomenal. Um, you can build it for a mega or for a non-mega. Um, for the mega, I suggest going Defiant and then using Power Up Punch, Aerial Ace, etc., because its mega ability is Technician. So you can use Power Up Punch, get that Technician boost, Aerial Ace, get that Technician boost, Rock Soon, get that Technician boost, and then Roost because your defenses are higher and your speed is higher. That's nice. Wind Force is an ability, if I'm not mistaken, let me just go ahead and open that up. Wind Force is an ability that boosts the speed. So it negates flying type moves and instead boosts speed from the opponent, by the way. So you get instead of having a weakness to flying, you have an immunity to flying. Or you're supposed to, shoot. Oh, Wind Force. There it is. Yeah. Wind Force is. Oh, my fault, my fault. The Mega does not have an immunity to flying. I'm sorry. If you're playing the non-Mega version, you get Wind Force. Like I said, I haven't actually played it myself. So I'm speaking from theoretically, but I've seen the computer play it, and the computer used it to great effect. Um, yeah, playing the non-mega version, Wind Force for the immunity, high jump kick, Stone Edge, Shadow Claw, Roost, and then yep, you get this one by diving in the pond inside Nazca Town, and you can find the Bisharpite with the Tesseract. And Tesseract, every time I mention Tesseract, that's something that you get after you finish the Dragon Ruins. So once you finish some stuff there, you'll get Tesseract automatically as part of the story. You're not going to miss it. That's Scrafty. Oh, here we go. Wait, did I skip the Delta Luxray? Or did I skip Delta Scrafty? I skipped Delta Scrafty. Oh, that's fine. I will look up Delta Scrafty. All right, here we are, Delta Scrafty. Um, Honestly, it's kind of a waste of time to even come back and spin the block on this. I could have just said this guy sucks. Um, but he sucks. Um, he's kind of a his only real purpose in life is to beat up the seventh gym leader. Um, and then anytime before that or after that, he's trash. I I I I can't say it any other way. Um, his abilities, rough skin or rivalry or anger point. Yeah, yeah. There's nothing great going for him. Honestly, I'm sorry. Doesn't even get Dragon Dance like the original Scrafty does. But yeah, yeah. There's nothing good about him. It gets anger point as a hidden ability, and I put in my notes. It's slow, and its gimmick relies on it taking hits as a grass type, as a pure grass type. The worst defensive type in the game besides what, ice. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. All right, Delta Luxray, still poison with an ability called Vampiric. I forgot what Vampiric does. Um, I think recovers HP on contact. Okay, so recovers HP on contact is not terra bad. Um, Especially if you're going to use something like Shell Bell, which I recommended. Bulk up, Iron Head, Drill Run. Its problem is it's kind of slow, right? Because it's still Luxray, so 70 speed, and yeah, it's slow, and it's got a 4x weakness now. So now it has a 4 times weakness to ground and another weakness to fire. Those are its only two weaknesses. So if you're going up against something that isn't using those, you're in great hands. But if you are going up against something, its bulk isn't phenomenal or anything. It's 80s all around for bulk. Yeah, Yeah. Um, I think Death Luxray. I think this game has too many steel poison types. Like, I think this game has like three of them, and unfortunately, Death Luxray is one of them. I think this game has a lot of pure poison types too. Actually, Megadon fan. You can get this one. By the way, still. Oh gosh, I went all the way all around. Um, where we at? Fifth gym. All right, here we were. All right, so in order to get Delta Lux Ray, you need to go to that strength area in the northwest corner of Merc Forest. Did I describe this one as well? Delta Scrafty. Uh, it's in the hidden grotto in the southeast area of the Merc Forest. And then we talked about that one. All right. So another one in the strength area is going to be Megadon Fan. So there's going to be a shop there. You can go buy the Donphanite from him, and that's also where you get the ability capsules, which are incredibly important if you're running a Delta Muck. Sturdy, Rock Polish, Earthquake, Firefang, Stone Edge. Yeah, it's just a straight up. And then its mega ability is a custom ability called Irrelevant. That's the way the mega looks, by the way. Irrelevant, which makes type based abilities not active anymore, or type based immunities not active anymore. So if you want to hit a flying type with Earthquake, you can. Yeah, it makes Skarmory weak to Earthquake. So that's one thing you don't have to think about. Same thing with Charizards and stuff like that. Like anything that would normally be immune to Earthquake is now not. So now its other typing becomes the factor. So if it's resistant because it's a Tropius, then it's resistant. But a lot of things are not resistant at all. They are weak to it. So yeah, and it doesn't just work for Earthquake. It also works for stuff like um, Return, right? So you can hit these ghost types that I'm mentioning here with Return if you want to. It does not work with Levitate or Volt Absorb or anything like that. By the way, it doesn't work with abilities. It only works on type-based immunity. Mega Cacturn. This is the a. Oh, well, I shouldn't say that. This is a Pokemon. It does gain a lot of speed, which I'm not sure if I'm a fan of, but it gains a ton of attack power, and yeah, 145 each is great. You can be really, really mixy and flexible with that. It does get Sand Rush, so if Sandstorm is up, which it should be if you're running this, then yeah, you could just use your ridiculously high attack stats with Nasty Plot. I think it might actually get Sword Stance too. I'm not sure though. Let me check. Let me check. Let me check. I don't think it gets Sword Stance actually. Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, it gets Sword Stance and Nasty Plot. Yeah, you can use Sword Stance or Nasty Plot and then just go to town. So yeah, phenomenal Pokemon, phenomenal design. Look at the guns, bro. Yeah, great Pokemon. Mega Marowak. I don't remember if I actually fought against this thing. Ground Ghost type, Parental Bond. I I probably did fight against it once, but I probably was sweeping by the time it came out. Um, yeah, there's not much to mention here. It gets Phantom Force, which I guess I guess. Like, yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah, Shadow Claw. Parental Bond is a good ability. I'll leave it at that. Parental Bond is a good ability. Not having bone or what's not having club or thick club. That's the name of a normal item. I think not having thick club is a big holdback for Marowak though, because it normally relies on that. Like Mega Marowak's effective power is lower than um, regular Marowak's. Armored T-Tar, the strongest of the regular armored Pokemon, gets a boost of 33 to its defense and a boost of 30 to its special defense. Really, really good. Um, but I mean, there are other things you could be doing with T-Tar. I think Armor T-Tar is cool, but there are just other things you could be doing with it. Chopple Berry or something, right? And honestly, by the time you get to it, it's 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 mainly there for your opponent to use. Honestly, that's how I feel. It's mainly there for your opponent to use. It looks cool though, like the spikes, the bright purple neon spikes are kind of cool. But it's mainly there for your opponent to use it, not really you. You can use it, but why would you? You just want a T-Tar that can survive a couple more hits, because I don't think T-Tar gets a reliable recovery move at all. Um, Besides rest, Delta Liperd. This thing is actually kind of scary. It's a Ghost Fairy type, phenomenal coverage. It gets bulletproof as an ability, which gives it immunity to Dragon Ball, to Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, and Gyro Ball, which are all three attacks that it is scared of. Um, yeah, it gets Moonblast, Shadow Ball. I suggest getting Hidden Power Ground as a backup. It's just a good Pokemon, honestly. It's just a good Pokemon. It's a great Pokemon. Its speed stat is 106. Yeah, it's a nasty Pokemon. You get this one in Celine City at nighttime after talking to all the people who have clues about the Pokemon that's mysterious. Delta Noivern. Okay, I have a little bit of experience when I tried running this on the Sun team. Um, it's just a little. It doesn't do enough damage. It lacks damage, and then it gets hit, and then it's like, ouch. Yeah. So I tried running Solar Power variant, and it's like, yeah, 70 attack, even with the Solar Power boost, just was not cutting it. Um, or not Solar Power, excuse me. I tried running the Flower Gift variant. Um, but yeah, that 70 attack's not getting it done. Maybe Solar Power would have been a good enough to make it work. Maybe. But yeah, it's a grass steel type, so it's got a 4x weakness to fire, and yeah, it's an okay Pokemon. Um, cool little gimmick, I'll say. You get it at the top of the ancient tower in the egg, so good luck with that. I had to um, continuously because you can set up a repel and grab the egg and go hatch it. But I had to do that for quite a little bit of time before I got the jolly one I wanted. Obviously, if you're in post game, you could just breed it. But I, if you're looking for a type that's not the same as your Delta Ditto or nature that isn't the same as your Delta Ditto, yeah, good luck. All right, now for the sixth and final badge during this episode, we're going to talk about Delta Reuniclus, which is a worse regular Reuniclus, but it just like with Delta Scrafty, it does have like one opponent that it's really good against, and that's the Infernal Cultists, which are really numerous during this point in the game. So yeah, its niche is right here, right now, basically. And then after this moment, it stops being useful to you. So yeah, Delta Avalug. Um, it can be your Sandstream setter. It has Rock Dragon as a typing. You can have Solid Rock. It doesn't have any 4x weaknesses, thankfully. So yeah, it's just an all around good Pokemon, especially because it lacks any 4x weaknesses. Um, 95, 46 are good stats, and if you use four, what you call it? If you use four attacks, you can run Assault Vest to try to increase that bulk on the special side, but it does get Slack off, which is really, really nice. So you can do something else instead with that. Yeah, good Pokemon overall. You get this one at the Dragon Ruins by using Tesseract. Delta Golem, another Pokemon I have personal experience with. Delta Golem comes with Magic Bounce built in. Well, not built in. It can have it as a hidden ability. But otherwise, you can get Regenerator or Sap Sipper. Sap Sipper will get rid of one of your weaknesses. Regenerator is just nice around coverage with swapping out, setting rocks, whatever. So, yeah, overall, just a good Pokemon in general, I would say. Especially with Magic Bounce. But it is inferior to um, Delta Among Us and Delta, or not Delta, but Mega Uniclus when it comes to setting Trick Room, which is kind of what you really want to use it for. Delta Glalie, um, yeah, it's a Fire Rock type. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible Pokemon. Um, I do love this design though. It's a terrible Pokemon in the combat sense, but this design is fire. I don't think you actually get to fight one during your playthrough either. That's unfortunate because this design is insane. Um, it gets reckless as an ability, so go ahead and get your Flare Blitz and your Head Smash on. Um, but yeah, it's here for a good time, not a long time. Obviously, its only goal is to try to attack things very very hard, very very fast. Delta Frost last. By the way, you get Delta Snow in the Fiery Caverns with Tesseract in that third boulder area. So, and that's before you get to the big bridge. So, a Fire Ghost type. Oh, actually, shoot, I might be able to use this, but yeah, it's a Fire Ghost type. Has Magic Guard when it's a when it's Mega Evolved. I don't know. It gets good abilities. Fiery Dance, Shadow Ball, Energy Ball. It's got good coverage. It's a Frostlass. I don't know how else to say it. It's a Frostlass. But yeah, it's cool. I think of its abilities, probably competitive is the best because some things are going to hit you with intimidate, or you might take a drop from a errant moonblast or a shadow ball or something. Fiery Steelix. So this is the version we're talking about right here. It gets the ability Foundry, which changes rock attacks into fire attacks and increases their power by 30%, um, including stealth rocks and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a cool Pokemon. I wonder if it works for Sandstorm. I never tried it. That'd be crazy if you could set Flaming Sandstorm, Burning Sand, cinch the enemy Pokemon. Yeah. Um, One thing you'll have to note is that the Fire Mega has a different stat line than the Steel Mega. So the Fire Mega is quicker but less bulky, for sure. All right, Mega Sunflora. Um, I haven't had a chance to try it, but no matter how I do the math, whether you're using the male version or female version, the male version is slightly better. But regardless of which one you're using, they're both bad. Um, yeah, they're both bad. Um, yeah, I can't really go deep dive this. It's just a bad Pokemon. You get it. Its Megastone is hidden in Uranus Town. Delta Typhlosion. This one's actually kind of hard to get a handle on. So you have to solve some puzzles at the Weather Institute in order to get to Delta Cyndaquil. I highly recommend making this timid because too many things can outspeed a base 100 that is not a timid or jolly nature. Sorry, here's a picture of it. And then once it goes mega, you can see on the left what it looks like outside of inclement weather. Then once you have it raining or dark outside, then it'll be have that thunderstorm and it'll have that extra 50% damage from special attack. So yeah, motor drive from static. It's a cool Pokemon. I've used it on my darkness team. I like it. Obviously, it was the best choice I felt like. So yeah, it's okay. Supercell is cool. Mega Haxorus. All right, so this thing gets overused like hell during the Challenge Championship, and due to that, it doesn't feel special anymore by the time you actually get it, which you get it on the Mysterious Spire. You don't actually have to be able to enter the Mysterious Spire. You just need to be able to get there, which you can do at 6 patch. So you pick it up, and it's a Dragon Steel type with weak armor to make it a little bit quicker, but it also suffers a speed drop. So yeah, it can still learn Dragon Dance, it can still learn Swords Dance, all those good things. It's a good all around Pokemon. Its attack is 182, which is absolutely insane. Like I don't know much of anything that's surviving a hit from base 182 attack with stab behind it. All right, Delta Drift Glim. It gets No Guard and Hurricane and Inferno. That's really all you have to know. This thing is absolutely. I wish I had some time playing with it. This thing's absolutely phenomenal looking. Um, yeah, No Guard, Inferno, and Hurricane is stupid. I'm not gonna lie. Guaranteed burns. Yeah, nah, that's crazy. Delta Raichu, um, Fairy Flying. So this is the other Pokemon I was talking about when I was talking about a Cloud9 user. And honestly, that's how you're going to use it if you get it at this point in the game, which is like right before the seventh badge. Um, yeah, you just pick it up in order to negate weather. It could help against the seventh badge because that's going to be a weather team. It can help against the eighth badge because that's going to be a weather team. It can help against the Elite Four because you've got like two weather teams there. So it's got a lot going for it at the end of the game with Cloud9. You can throw an Assault Vest on it or Focus Ash, Moonblast, Chatter, Focus Blast. I don't think you could throw an Assault Vest on it though until post game because you don't get any until post game. Hidden Power Ground or Grass Knot for its last move. It's a good Pokemon. Um, yeah, I highly recommend trying it out. Um, Let me know how it goes for you. I think it's a good Pokemon, and I wrote a ton of notes about it. How good I felt it was. That's a Shuckle. So it's a steel fighting type. Unlike regular Shuckle, it actually gets power uh, split, which allows it to kind of split its power, its attack and special attack between the enemy and itself without actually just giving up its attack. So if you come up against the enemy where you're like, oh yeah, I want to steal its attack and weaken it at the same time, you can do that. And then you could just use a drain punch to try to get some of your health back, or you could use dynamic punch because you do have no guard, which is great, but it's just like kind of scary. It's like, yeah, some things in Challenge Championship have fissure. You just have to be careful with that. Oh, messing up here. There we go. Mac Cargo, Mega Mac Cargo. Mega Mac Cargo I used, um, and it is absolutely stupendously strong. I like it. I like it a lot. Make sure you get Hidden Power Grass. That is important, but I like it. 30 speed goes up to 50, which is just enough to outspeed some very slow things that you just like. Some slower, bulky things that you're just like, I don't want to move slower than you because you could be annoying. But yeah, 150 special attack. Water types don't deal any damage to you at all because of vaporization, which gets rid of all water type attacks and targeted effects on the field. Yeah, it's nice to have. Um, you get the Mad Cargo Knight by completing the Hypno side quest. And then the last Pokemon, Mew. So that would be it for this mid-game episode. Space Mew is the same as regular Mew. It just has a slightly different sprite. Looks a little cooler. I wish they did more with this, honestly. I wish they did more with the whole Space Mew thing. But it is what it is. But yeah, that'll be it for this episode. Keep in mind that I think Mew in this game can learn just about everything, right? So it's not just the stuff, yeah, it's not just the stuff that it can learn in canon, but like all the corrode, which is a great ability, um, just all kinds of nasty stuff that Dragonify, yeah, all kinds of stuff. Achilles Heel, it can learn all of the custom attacks as well. So yeah, it's nice to have on your team. Look at all these tutoring moves. Unfortunately, you didn't get V Create or nothing like that, but it is what it is. But yeah, that'll be it for this episode. I appreciate you tuning in. As always, I've been me. You've been awesome. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.